My dear child, come sit closer for a moment. There's something I once experienced long ago, when I was still young. It happened one summer when I visited my grandmother's house in the countryside with my little brother. Even now, after all these years, remembering that night still sends chills down my spine. You see, my grandmother lived very far away from the city. Her house stood alone among wide fields and quiet valleys. During the daytime, the place felt peaceful and warm. The wind would whisper through the tall grass, and the cicadas sang loudly under the burning summer sun. For children like us, it felt like paradise. My brother and I would spend our days wandering around the hills, catching insects, exploring the valley behind the house, and pretending we were adventurers discovering a new world. Those summer days felt endless. But when night came, everything changed. You must understand something about that place. The nearest convenience store was almost 30 minutes away by bicycle. There were no street lights along the road, no houses nearby, no cars passing by. Once the sun disappeared behind the mountains, the countryside became completely dark. Not city dark, real darkness. The kind where you cannot even see your own hands in front of you. One evening, after we had spent the whole day playing outside, my brother and I came inside for dinner. The sky outside had already turned deep purple, and the night insects had begun their chorus. My grandmother sat across from us at the small wooden table. The room smelled like fresh rice and grilled fish. Everything felt calm and normal. But suddenly, my grandmother looked at us very seriously. Her expression changed in a way I had never seen before. Then she said something that puzzled me. "Listen carefully, children," she said in a quiet voice. "Do not go outside this house late at night." That was all she said. No explanation, no story, just a warning. At first, I didn't understand why she said that. I was just a child after all. I assumed she was worried about us getting lost in the dark or maybe falling somewhere on the road. The countryside roads were very dark after sunset, so I didn't think much of it. After dinner, my brother and I went to bed. We stayed up talking and laughing for a while, like children always do during summer vacations. Time passed quickly. Before we knew it, it was already around 1 in the morning. The house was silent. The night outside was heavy and still. That was when my younger brother suddenly sat up in bed and began whining. He said, "I want ice cream." At first, I told him to go back to sleep, but then something strange happened. The more he talked about ice cream, the more I started wanting it too. You know how children are. Once the idea enters your mind, it becomes impossible to ignore. Of course, I remembered what my grandmother had told us earlier. Do not go outside at night. But we convinced ourselves it would be fine. After all, the convenience store was only 30 minutes away. So we quietly sneaked out of the house, trying not to wake our grandmother. The night air outside felt cool and strangely quiet. We got on our bicycles and began riding toward the town. The road stretched ahead of us like a black tunnel. No lights, no sounds except the soft turning of our bicycle wheels. Still, we laughed and talked along the way. We felt like secret adventurers breaking the rules. When we finally reached the convenience store, we bought our ice cream and sat outside eating it. Everything felt normal, almost too normal. But the strange part began when we started riding back to our home. The night had grown even darker. Our bicycle lights barely illuminated the narrow road ahead. My brother was riding behind me while we talked about Pokemon, which was very popular back then. We were laughing and arguing about which Pokemon was the strongest. Then suddenly, my brother spoke up. "Hey," he said casually, "the shortcut is over there." He pointed somewhere to the side of the road, but it was so dark I couldn't see where he was pointing. Something about that direction made me uneasy. I can't explain why. Maybe it was instinct. Maybe it was something else. But I suddenly felt a strange chill. So I said to him, "No, let's just go back the way we came." And then something happened that I will never forget. As soon as I said those words, I looked forward, and there, riding a bicycle ahead of me, was my brother. For a moment, my mind refused to understand what I was seeing, because just seconds ago, I thought my brother was behind me. The cold realization crept slowly into my chest. If my brother was in front of me, then who had been talking behind me? The moment that thought crossed my mind, a terrible chill ran through my entire body. My hands started shaking on the hard bars, and then I remembered my grandmother's warning, "Do not go outside this house late at night." My heart began pounding loudly in my ears. I didn't dare turn around, not even once. Sweat ran down my face as I pedaled my bicycle as fast as I could. Faster and faster and faster. The road felt endless. But finally, the familiar outline of my grandmother's house appeared in the distance. Relief flooded through me. I rushed into the yard and jumped off my bicycle. But just as I stepped on the ground, something whispered right next to my ear. A cold voice, soft and disappointed. "Too bad." My entire body froze. I grabbed my brother's wrist without saying a word and dragged him into the house. We ran straight to our room, pulled the blankets over our heads, and stayed awake the entire night. Neither one of us spoke about what happened, not even once. The next morning, everything felt strangely normal again. We ate breakfast quietly with our grandmother. We didn't tell her about sneaking out the night before. Somehow, it felt like we shouldn't. Later that day, we took the bus back home. As the bus drove along the countryside road, I looked out the window, thinking about what had happened. Then suddenly, the bus passed the place where my brother had pointed the night before, and my heart stopped, because I finally saw what had been hidden by the darkness. There was no road there, no shortcut, only a steep cliff. If I had followed that voice, if I had turned my bicycle toward that direction, my brother and I would have ridden straight off the edge. Even now, after all these years, whenever I visit that old house again, I still remember that whisper beside my ear. And sometimes, late at night, I wonder what might have happened if I had listened. And even now, whenever I remember that night, I still feel a chill run down my spine. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I had followed that voice into the darkness. If you enjoy listening to stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more scary stories and mysterious tales. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next story.